it's going back to what cycling is about, which is an adventure. You and your bike and the terrain, the conditions, and taking on that challenge yourself. And it can be a race against other people. It can be a race against the terrain, a race to the party for us, But yeah, it's the essence of what the bike represents, which is freedom.
Hi, welcome to Going Along with Cycling Weekly, the cycling podcast about all things ultra, bike packing and adventure riding. My name's Steve Shrobson, I'm your host, and with me is my colleague, co-host and brother, James.
We got a special guest with us today, haven't we?
We have indeed. Ultra cyclist, gentleman, scholar, you name it. He is it, Ian Toe. Great to see you, mate.
You too, cool. Both of you. Thanks for having me.
No, our absolute pleasure. We've seen a little bit of each other recently. I think, well, actually, the first time we met, we were on the start line of the Southern Divide, which was back in May. And rather rudely, you just sort of left everyone after about 10 metres. So explain yourself, Ian.
I think it was a few miles, but I was pacing myself.
Yeah. Well, I spoke to you on the start line of that. It's a 700 kilometre ultra event off-road. When you said to me, where you wanted to be at the end of day one, I was sort of like, okay, have you got an e-bike or what? But yeah, I mean, that's when, you've been on our radar before because you've been in Cycling Weekly before, but that's when you really sort of came on my radar as being the real deal, quite an ultra cyclist. So you've been doing it for quite a long time though, haven't you?
Yeah, almost a decade now. I've done something like 17 events, I think. I had to count. I had to actually write them down. I scratched a couple. I've won a few, maybe 9 or 10.
It's not a bad ratio.
Yeah, it's a pretty good win rate, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nothing big. I mean, this is ultra racing. I do it for fun. I love riding my bike far, seeing new places, meeting people.
Yeah.
That's why I'm still doing it after 10 years almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you certainly don't have an e-bike because you were riding this bike here, certainly for Southern Divide. Am I right in thinking that? This is your Lapierre.
Yeah, so for those who aren't watching this, we've got Ian's sort of bespoke full susser behind us. Can you talk us through it a little bit?
Yeah,
Ian?
I mean, this is not the bike I rode in Southern Divide. This is actually a beefier bike I've built in the last month, because I want to do more off-road stuff. I really enjoyed the Southern Divide, and I think having done some more technical stuff, I need more suspension. I'm getting old, you see, so I need all the bounce that I can get. But I was doing Southern Divide on a steel gravel bike with front suspension, same tyres, 2.2 inch Conti Race Kings.
Conti Race Kings, so that's your sort of tyre of choice, basically.
Yeah. Very fast rolling, really grippy.
They look good.
Good on the road, great off road as well.
Yeah. So you found obviously that adding full suspension to what's essentially a gravel bike, you've obviously gone for comfort there. So comfort is king in your eyes.
Yeah, comfort and also the handling. It gives you confidence that you can hammer it down descents. I was riding with James Benson King at Stone Circle just a couple of weeks ago, and I was just dropping him on every descent.
Hi, James.
So he was riding rigid, rigid forks, rigid rear, and this thing just flies downhill. Yeah. 3-position lockout.
Even with because it's got drop handlebars as well, so you find that you're pretty stable.
I mean, I'm a roadie transitioning to off road.
Yeah.
So this is like probably my I don't know, third or fourth off road of ultra that I've done, and I'm just adapting to it. So I like the drop position. I like the multiple hand positions, so you're not kind of stuck in that one hand position. You can move your arms around, your hands around. I've obviously got aero bars on there for a different hand position for the road.
For the aero bars, are you using those to get aero, or are you using them as a different position? Obviously, it's probably a mixture of both. But why? What's the predominant reason you've spec them?
Comfort.
Right.
Comfort is king in ultra. I mean, if you can't hold a position, if your contact points, suffer because you're holding your hands in the same position for hours and hours and hours.
Well, you probably can't see it on camera, but I've just had a go at the South Downs double on a hardtail, and my hands are now. I still can't really feel. I've sort of lost the feeling somewhat.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably only using one hand position.
That's all I'm using.
Yeah. Whereas on this, I've got at least 4.
Yeah, but for me, I think for something like the South Downs Way, which for those who don't know is a very undulating trail with lots of steep ups and downs, when you're coming down it, for somebody like me with very limited descending skills, I need that wide sort of grip, I think that really helps me. Is that something that doesn't trouble you?
That's going to help on descents, isn't it? But I guess you need more than the one handlebar position. I mean, like Ian, you've got the aero bars there, which a lot of people do have, and pretty much got to be essential, like you say, for sort of really long ultras. But maybe bar ends as well. Sort of flat bar.
More hand positions are better.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about the weights. I would just add them, and your hands will be thanking yourself for it. And wrists as well.
Yeah.
Shoulders. Everything fatigues.
And I guess with the sort of aero bars, kind of better aerodynamics is probably like a nice side effect.
Especially in the UK, when we know that a trail will end at some point. If it's a cycle path, it will end very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But there are always some sections of paved bits, so you can use the aero position just to relax your body. Take the pressure off your hands, your wrists, your shoulders.
Sure.
Yeah.
Forgot to say at the beginning of the podcast, we've got Ian on to give us some of his top tips for ultra riding.
Indeed. And it's ultra riding essentials, right? So
ultra riding essentials,
So all the stuff that you just cannot afford to leave at home, Ian has learned over plenty of events, sort of trial and error, and plenty of wins along the way as well. Yeah. So definitely going to be worth listening to.
So Ian, you say you've recently transitioned from road to ultra, road to trail, road to off-road. Can you tell us where did your ultra journey start?
I think I was kind of getting bored of road racing and time trialing things on the road. It's very short. I was a dad before I started ultra cycling, so I didn't want to do mass starts. I didn't want to risk injury. And you watch the Tour de France, and you just see pile up after pile up, and people just going home after one stage because they've had a crazy crash. I mean, being a dad, you guys know this. You've got to be able to look after your own kids. So if you've injured yourself, you can't work, you can't look after your kids. So what are you going to do? It seems silly as an amateur to be risking your health, your body. So we got into ultra because I liked riding long. So I'd ride like 200 miles in a day to avoid my ex-wife, spending time with her. And then I'd ride back to avoid spending time with her.
Yes, been there, done that.
And I think part of the appeal is not only that escapism, but also you're doing something great for your own mental health, your physical health.
So was it more of a mental, or was it a mental thing that initially sort of spurred your interest? Was it that mental aspect?
Or for sure. And my partner nowadays, Ingeborg, she's also an ultra cyclist. So I met her at the end of an across Europe race, and we share the same values. And this is how I got into tandeming, is by riding with other people, and especially with her on the tandem. We'd just talk, we'd see great places, eat great food, do races together, and it's turned into that kind of sharing of an experience, finding beautiful places and really sharing that moment. It might be a beautiful sunrise or a sunset, but you're sharing it together, you're seeing the same thing. I've actually transitioned into becoming an ultra organizer by wanting to share that beauty with even more people.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about your event, VIA, in this podcast as well. So we'll be hearing plenty about that too.
Yeah. So you talk to me a lot about, going in search of beauty, which is great. You know, it's easy to overlook the places you're going through when you're sort of putting yourself through the ringer, you know, when you're sort of 500K into an event. What would you say the most, it's hard to pinpoint, but what would you say the most beautiful place you've ever ridden is?
Norway.
Right.
No shadow of a doubt.
Right. Okay. That was an easy one.
No hesitation there.
Yeah.
No. Where you have the sea, the fjords at sea level, going all the way up to 1,000 meters and beyond, the mountains, is that combination of the sea and the mountains and the snow, unspoiled country, beautifully preserved, clean, and few people.
Right. What's the population of Norway?
5.2 million, 5.3.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not a small place, is it?
It's a huge place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are many places in Norway which just don't see many people.
Yeah.
Cars, the motorists are really respectful. The roads are really well
Right,
maintained.
okay. Yeah,
You
that
can go
counts for a
off-road as
lot.
well. Yes. You can do fat biking in the winter. Absolutely stunning scenery. I mean, whenever I look at the photos that I've taken previously or other people's photos of Norway, I just think, I want to be there.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that sort of combination of mountains and coast it's just always a winner on the bike, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, it's usually pretty tough going. You can have plenty of climbing along the way, but well worth it.
Oh yeah, and it's incredibly rewarding, you know, to do a smooth road climb to 1,000 meters from the sea level, because the views that you earn, you know, you can appreciate them that just more.
Have you ever ridden up mountains on the tandem?
We have done a few mountains, yeah.
How's that?
We did Desertus Bikers back in 22. We scratched eventually, but we were in second place when we destroyed our rear wheel.
All right.
Okay, so mechanical.
Yeah.
breakdown.
The bearings just died inside, and it was just a silver mush at the end of the day, with the wheel wobbling around in the rear stays. But yeah, to cross mountains on a tandem, you want it to be less steep.
Yeah.
Because
Can you tell if people are working, you know, sort of equally?
There's always that joke of, you know, when you're riding along and somebody shouts, "She's not pedaling." How many times have I heard that? No,
Yes.
she works pretty hard.
I remember when you said, James, that when you and Di, your wife Di, and yourself were riding back from Portsmouth or something, and you were riding through a city centre, and somebody just went, just looking.
Yeah, I mean, it sparks quite a few different types of reaction, mostly really positive. I mean, you get people they give you plenty of room in the car, and they wave to you, they smile and wave, but then you also get, obviously, the jokes like, you know, she's not pedaling on the back, or and then this one guy sitting in a pub garden just sort of broke into the biggest peals of laughter at
like
the
that.
idea of seeing someone on a tandem that I've ever heard. But you know, each their own. At least he was happy.
It's like that Nelson Muntz out of The Simpsons, that sort of thing. I've had that a few times just on my bike riding along. It's like, I'm riding a bicycle. It's not that funny.
Yeah, I mean, I ride the tandem into Swindon Centre from where we live in the countryside, and we go to the train station, myself and my girlfriend, and I drop her off at the station, or I pick her up there, and so I'm usually riding one leg.
So what's riding
her.
the tandem like on your own? It's
a little bit strange.
Yeah.
The handling's weird because you don't have much traction.
You're at the front, obviously.
Yeah, but you do get you do get those jokes. You're missing somebody.
So jump on and start pedaling then.
Yeah. Come join me.
Yeah.
But actually, you know, we found it a great way of going out riding together. I mean, my wife isn't really a cyclist. And, you know, when we went out riding on solo bikes, we were a bit mismatched. But, you know, as soon as you jump on a tandem, then there's no real problem. I mean, you know, keep the routes mainly sort of flat, I guess. But it means you get to, you know, the pub for lunch or something, and you're not kind of really, really annoyed with each other, which is always handy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first time that we rode together, Ingeborg and I, she had said, this is your way of getting some secret training in, isn't it? I'm like, no, it's really sociable. And it is really sociable when you can ride along, you can see the same sights together. You're not worried about riding in a group, riding, you know, close to each other, or how far, you know, somebody else is. you're always there together and you can talk, you can hear each other.
I suppose you might feel less vulnerable on the road on a tandem because it's slightly bigger. Don't know if that's a thing.
I think it makes a difference.
Yeah, the handling in some some narrow lanes, some steep descents, some steep ascents can be a little bit sketchy at times. Right. But if you build up your confidence as a team and you work together really well, then it becomes second nature.
It does require quite a lot of teamwork, doesn't it? I mean, one of the things, I don't know how other people go about doing this, but if you're waiting at a junction, especially if you're trying to pull out into somewhere that's sort of reasonably busy, you have to be ready to go at the same time. You can't, if you're on the front, you can't just start pedaling because the other person might just fall off the back.
Yes. Yeah.
So, we ended up just counting down every time we'd start up, like 3, 2, 1.
Thunderbirds are go.
But I don't know how else we would have gone about it.
It encourages good communication, and if you're already good as a couple, then it's not a problem. Yeah. So,
proves you're really in sync. If you're really meant for each other, you can do it by sort of
telepathy.
Yeah, cool. So
beautiful.
You actually set a record with your girlfriend Ingeborg on the tandem?
Yes, in 2023. Yeah, we did the National Time Trial Championships, the 24-hour, the Mersey Roads course, and we set out to actually break 500 miles. That was the secret objective. I think the world record overall, which is set by 2 men in Florida, maybe, so super flat, was 505 miles. So we thought we could beat that. I mean, we'd done 2 ultras in the 2 months prior to that, so we were pretty fit. I think we'd done All Points North, and we'd won the pairs category for the first time. A tandem had won that, and that was pretty lumpy. And we did 70 mile an hour average with a lot of climbing. And then we'd both done Solstice Sprint and won the men's and the women's categories. Oh,
Ingeborg, that was on the tandem, or she did
solo?
Oh,
so
right,
we did that on solo bikes.
Yeah.
And then we did the 24, and we had a really good support team. We wouldn't have been able to break the record without them. And the mixed tandem record back then for the 24-hour was 465 miles, and we knew we could break that, no problem. And I'd done the 24-hour previously in 2019, so 4 years prior, and I did 506 miles solo, and that was with an hour off the bike, with some serious stomach issues.
Right, an hour is quite for a 24-hour TT.
Yeah.
You don't really want to be off the bike at all, do you?
Not at all. I mean, the best 24-hour riders don't get off the bike.
Basically. I mean, that is pretty incredible to have an hour off the bike and do 505 miles.
506 miles. Yeah, I think I think I had to go to the toilet 10 times. I had to go to the toilet. I had to beg some like blue toilet roll.
What do you eat?
Toilet roll. It's like mechanics roll. The really rough stuff.
Of luxury.
Yeah. Rip off my skin suit, jump into a bush. Yeah, that was terrible.
It does not sound nice.
Just, it begs the question what you would have done if you hadn't had all those problems.
More. I don't know, but more.
Or, on the other hand, did that give you a bit of rest?
No, I felt totally drained.
Right.
I mean, nothing was going in very well.
Okay.
And I'd said to Ingeborg for the tandem record, we won't spend that much time off the bike. We ended up spending an hour and a half off the bike, mostly due to mechanicals. No physical issues. It was the wettest 24 since 1966, is what I was told by those veteran volunteers. They said, 33 millimeters. It's never happened before. All our shifters died, so we were using SRAM ETAP. All 5 shifters, including the blip box, died. We had to use our spare bike. Our team had to just continually try to dry out the shifters. Riding along with the blip box was just terrible. And in the end, we had to throw away the blip box for the last maybe, 10 miles and just roll around in 5411. Biggest, really? Hardest gear. Yeah. And just smash it up every single lump and bump.
That sounds awful.
Did you manage to stay on the bike?
Yeah.
Right.
We stayed on the bike. We got a puncture as well. Just smashed up every hill, including past Michael Hutchinson a couple of times. I mean, he was probably thinking, what the hell are you guys doing? Doing like 600 watts up this hill. But we're just trying to stay up on the record. In the end, I think we broke it by less than 2 miles.
Right.
And recently I found out that actually it's a world record as well. So I've just applied for it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Only two years later.
So you're going to be in the book.
Yeah. So we found out that.
So Guinness World Record.
Yeah.
Right.
So somebody's asking, is that a national record or a world record? And I said, I think it's just a national record, but I don't know. And I looked it up on Guinness. Guinness has 455, but but we did 467.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
So I've applied for that. We should just be
Definitely
ratified.
Yeah, definitely. Just dotting the I's and crossing the T's for that one.
It sounds like you would have got pretty close or beaten the 500 miles if you hadn't had those problems. I mean, it sounds like you just had a couple of really unfortunate sort of 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's a shame. But that's cycling for you, I suppose.
It happens.
Yeah.
With the rain, do you look at the forecast and see, because I do this, I look at the forecast and if it's raining, even if I've entered an event, I'm just like, do you know what? I cannot be bothered. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but when you want to achieve something, I mean, like a lot of the top races, you plan your year around particular events that you're targeting and you want to do well. So
well, you get your A events and your B events.
Yeah.
So, obviously you're trying to peak if you peak for them physically, I suppose.
When you put the training in, you put all the time for the preparation, the equipment, you're fully focused and you don't want to let the weather get in the way. And if it's a race, then you're racing against other people. For us, we were racing the record. So, if we'd done a flat course, I mean, we did something like 4,000 meters of climbing because it's an open road course around Mersey roads and there were lots of road closures. So the course was very different. It's very different to, I think, what they did in Florida, where they did like 500 meters of climbing total.
Right, 24 hours.
24 hours,
that's
it's
crazy,
very flat. So
crazy flat. That's
But we were going for a national record, so we had to do the course.
Yeah.
So that's what we were up for. And Ingeborg was the one that, when I said I can't be bothered with this, we're down on the record, we'll never make it. She said, I'm not going home without having done at least 400.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, fine. Yeah. Actually, that's a good target. Let's get you to 400. We got to 400 and we went back up on the record slightly. And suddenly the sun came out for a few hours. And then I thought, there's still a chance to make the record. Let's just push it. More mechanicals happened. We went down on the record again, up on the record. And in the end, it was that 2 miles. Hair's breadth that we took it by.
Right.
So it sounds like you were always sort of within shouting distance of it, and that probably spurred you on to keep going. I guess if you'd really kind of fallen way down, it might have been different. But
I think it was in a range of kind of 20 minutes down, 20 minutes up.
Yeah.
So it was constantly wavering between up and down, and it was very stressful. Stressful on our team as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because the team plays such a big part, doesn't it? And for 24 hours, to sort of be there and like keep you guys going.
Yeah,
it's a big job.
I mean, the deal was I didn't want to see our team apart from for food hand-ups. If we needed to see them more than for food and drink, then a lot was going wrong, and it all went wrong. We broke a phone, we broke lights, the water just saturated.
Well, that's
all
the
the
problem in the
electronics.
rain. Everything breaks.
It's got a lot to answer for, really, isn't it? I mean,
your rain, your phone goes. Hopefully
gears.
your Garmin's going to be all right. But I've had sort of issues with gears where they've become waterlogged and stuck. So.
I have to confess, I've never done a 50-mile time trial, but I came very close to doing one. I drove 100 miles. 50 miles. I drove 100 miles to Colchester. This was back in the day when I was time trialing. And then it started raining and I didn't even get out the car. I just turned around and went home. I think that's what rain can kind of do to your morale.
I think for a short...
I think not.
I think for a short event, I can see that. But for a long event, for an ultra, you're just hoping you're praying that the weather will change, and it usually does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you say, it was an A event. You trained for it specifically for a very long time. So, yeah, it's worth doing.
Yeah.
Well, and it definitely was worth doing, wasn't it? Because
Yeah.
he actually broke the record.
It was definitely an experience. I mean, beyond the record, the stories that we have to tell, and we know what happened. We had a great time with our friends who were great supports. They will have stories to tell. I mean, combined, it would have made quite a cracking film, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, moving on then, that you're well ensnared in off-road ultras now, or are you? I know you've done a fair few and you've had success. Where Southern Divide being a case in point. Are you going to do any more?
Yeah, I'm planning to do more. I mean,
Right.
This is the purpose of this bike.
Right.
So I've upgraded to suspension front, much beefier on the front, and suspension on the rear.
Have you got any in mind? Any off-road ultras in mind? Maybe not for this year, but for next.
Not this year. Next year, I don't know. There are quite a few around. I'd prefer to do something a bit longer. We'll see if I have time. But it is about fitting in the calendar.
Well, we are actually working on something which we'll talk about at a later date. It involves about 600 kilometres in, and
Go on, just spill it.
Me and Ian and James have been sort of working on potentially bringing a new ultra to the calendar next year. We're calling it the Wessex Way, but we'll keep you updated on that as things progress. Yeah, but
Exciting stuff.
yeah, but into race organisation and founding. You are the founder of a 4,000 kilometre epic, Ian. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we were inspired by the demand for riders to have a pure road ultra, a long race which had an emphasis.
This is actually a race, because a lot of ultras will stipulate that this isn't a race, it's just a ride. It's you against the clock. That there's no rivalry, there's no competition.
We have a lot of rivalry.
Yeah.
There's a lot of competition. We have some of the top riders in the world. I mean, Bruno Vischt, who's won the unknown race and raced through Poland this year. He was fourth at Via last year. Mm-hmm. Adam Bialek, who's won, I think, 10 ultras.
So your race is called Via,
Yes. And this is the second edition this year. We're calling it Chapter 2 because it is a story which continues over time, year after year after year. So last year was Chapter 1.
So you're starting this year, aren't you, in the same place that last year's event finished?
Correct. So last year we followed the route of Hannibal, the Carthaginian general who took 38 elephants from the south of Spain, as it is now, to the south of Italy. He fought the Romans, and he was in Italy for something like 13 years, undefeated, before he had to leave for Africa, Carthage, which is now Tunisia.
Right.
And yes, last year's race finished in the south of Italy, so we're starting in the south of Italy and continuing that journey almost seamlessly to the Netherlands via every mountain range, the Apennines, the Alps.
Even through the Vosges, one of our favourite ones.
Yeah, through the Black Forest and the Vosges. From sea, the Adriatic to the North Sea. So
that is
stuff.
a long way.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a route. And I've, having seen the route, I know it kind of zigzags across the mountains as well. So no easy ride either.
But it is self-plotting, isn't it?
Yes, it's free routing.
Routing, yeah.
Yeah, and we have mandatory locations called gates, which riders need to ride through. And they can do it any which way they like. They can do it any order they like.
But you have positioned the gates so that riders take in the most beautiful and quieter parts of the country.
Absolutely. Yeah. So safety is paramount.
Yeah.
And what I would say is, while road ultras are considered more dangerous, it depends where an event takes them. So we are very much sticking riders to the middle of Italy, the spine of Italy, through the Apennines, through the Abruzzo region, through Umbria, off the busy coastline, because that's where you get all the traffic, all the tourists. Down the centre, it's much quieter. It's much more mountainous, but there are also fewer people. but the roads are better as well. And so that's how we've strategically chosen particular gates to direct people into the quietest areas. And this is a theme that we continue through. So we've got a lot more gates. I think we've got something like 13 or 14.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's quite a few.
So the gates are essentially the checkpoints that everyone has to visit. But I think you were saying you don't have to visit them in a certain direction. So you can come from one direction or the other. Or you can even go through and turn around and go back the other way.
Absolutely. So our race is a lot about choice. And so people can choose which kind of areas, which kind of roads they want to ride on. They might take some gravel shortcuts. Last year, we had people hiker-biking up to the Nivelet, the Colle del Nivelet. Others took the road route up, which was
Did the hiker-bikers save any time?
Yeah.
Right.
So it was a calculated risk where some riders actually bought trainers
right.
in a town, below the Colle del Nivelet, and then transported them to the hike-bike section, changed shoes, and then hike-biked over, and then got rid of them.
Yeah,
that's one approach. Yeah, that's good.
I mean, so one rider even bought a pair of shoes off a homeless person, which only cost him like €5.
Right.
And it got him third place. The winner also did the hike-bike. In fact, I think, yes, the top three all did the hike-bike. So they had prepared,
so
calculated.
it's a case of he who dares on Via.
In some cases, they have to do the preparation. Yeah. They'd done research of other riders who'd been through that route, other races, other events, even asked local hikers.
How many people do you have involved in each? I mean, last year you said you got a pretty good return rate. So how many people took part last year?
Last year we had 100 registered, and then 80 started. This year we had 150 registered. Probably 120 will start. Yeah. A lot of injuries, a lot of financial difficulties, personal problems. These things happen. Sure. But our return rate was as high as 70% from last year. It's dropped to about 60, just under 60%. Because I think the riders were very satisfied. They had a great experience. They had a great race.
Exactly. Yeah. The fact that, you're using, I mean, it's 2 weeks is the cutoff, right?
There's no cutoff per se, but we have to have a party and it's at 15 and a half days. So we start on one Saturday, 2 weeks later on the Sunday evening, we have a party, organising, catering, celebrating people's successes. And it doesn't matter if it's, somebody who's winning versus somebody who's pushed their limits so far, not necessarily completed the course, but we like to celebrate their success as being, laudable.
Yeah, okay. I mean, if you finish after the party, are you still an official finisher then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? Yeah. Why have a silly rule saying that you didn't finish? Of course you finished, so you're a finisher. It's just that, as an organisation, as a team, we all have lives, we've got kids, we've got jobs, we can't be there forever, yes.
Well, this is why the return rate's impressive, because it's ultimately a 2 week break from
life, work.
So
family,
it's something that has to be planned, and it's going to be a target, a yearly sort of an A target for many, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
You're not going to do too many of those in a year.
No, only one.
Yeah,
one big one.
Yeah. But it sounds like it's tempting me. It's tempting me. So
got a place if you want one, Steve.
Yeah, I'm looking at it next year. I haven't done anything like that before. I mean, that's well above any weight I've ever punched before in ultra distance riding.
And we have rookies doing this for the first time. Their first ultra race. I mean, we always recommend that rookies get some experience, especially of night riding, sleep deprivation, the physical exhaustion side of things. So doing a shorter ultra, it might be a sprint event like 1,000K, just gives them confidence, gives you some learning experience.
1,000K is a sprint event in ultra riding.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Solstice sprint, Mittelgebirge, about 1,000K.
Yeah.
You can do it in less than 2 days quite easily.
Yeah.
It sounds absolutely fantastic. I mean, what do you have to? Obviously, if you're getting novice ultra riders, sort of participating, then you don't necessarily have to have done a great deal before. But I mean, how do you go about getting a place if you wanted to ride beer?
You just apply. And I think what's most important to us is your passion for the event, for ultra cycling. And if you absolutely want to do it, then we will signpost things like doing shorter races. Like we'll find you a buddy, somebody who's an ultra cyclist who is doing the race and can give some like peer-to-peer advice, or a coach. I mean, there are a few coaches around, so we'll signpost these things.
So you kind of help someone into on their way towards the race.
And we've done webinars for rookies to just say these are some of the topics that you need to really experience and get good at. So the sleep, the heat exhaustion. I've got more tips.
I mean,
for later, but it's a big education, and it does harken back to the original Tour de France, where riders had to look after themselves. It was one stage, the clock never stops. One bike, no mechanics, no 5-star cycling where you've got a camper van looking after you with a chef and a masseur, and like the Tour de France setup now is crazy with the caravan that you have. You have to do everything yourself. Fix your bike, find your food, plot your route. It's that purity of cycling.
Races like Via, they're very modern in a way, aren't they? But at the same time, I guess as you've just explained, they're sort of there's a lot of old about them as well.
It's going back to what cycling is about, which is an adventure. You and your bike and the terrain, the conditions, and taking on that challenge yourself. And it can be a race against other people. It can be a race against the terrain, a race to the party for us, But it's the essence of what the bike represents, which is freedom. Freedom from the trappings of everything, all the possessions that you have in the world. You travel with a couple of bags, the absolute minimum that you can get away with.
What do people normally do for accommodation during Via? Do they camp or?
I think it depends, and different riders have different styles, but usually there's a mix.
Right.
Especially on the first night, riders will ride through. We start in the morning, they'll ride through the first night because they're so hyped up. They're so, they've got that adrenaline rush.
Is that quite a normal thing? People will ride through that first night?
Yeah, right, very often.
But wouldn't that sort of serve to sort of mess up your circadian rhythm a bit for the following days, or are people riding at very random times?
It depends on the conditions, and it suits different riders. So riding through the night might be good for the heat. But they the best riders, they'll take some sleep kit in order to be able to adapt to the circumstances. If you're on the top of a mountain, you won't necessarily find a hotel. You may need to descend to find somewhere warm, find a bus shelter, throw out your sleeping bag or just a bivvy bag and sleep for a few hours. So it's, bus stops are almost like hotels. They're free, they're sheltered. The more sides on them, the more stars that bus shelter gets awarded. Sometimes you have a bench with cushions and a door and a window.
What constitutes room service?
I think some random member of the public bringing you food, feeling pity for you.
Taking pity,
that does happen. That human connection.
I guess it must do.
So I mean, speaking about race organisation and Via, I think we'd like to know some of your top tips for planning an event like this, for how to embark on an event like this. So, say I want to ride 4,000 K. Where am I starting? Where do I start? Do I have to start with sort of physical, do I have to build myself up to be able to ride that amount of mileage, or?
I think number one is you've got to want to do it.
Right.
You've got to be inspired to do it, because it's going to require a lot of commitment in terms of time and expense. You can do it on a shoestring, but it's better to be flexible. More options you have, that's what money is there for, to bring that different experience. And once you have that why do I want to do it? Because I want to compete. I want to see see where my limits are. I want to have a great adventure. Always.
So if you've got doubts at the back of your mind, like before you sign up, you pay your money. If you've got doubts at the back of your mind, Do you cast these to one side, or do you address the doubts, or what do you do?
I think
would you still do it? Is what I'm trying to say.
I think it depends on your doubts, but I think life is for living, and when you embark on an adventure like this, and you've never done it before, how are you going to live with yourself in 20 years' time when you think about the lost opportunity that you could have done it? You had the time, you had the money, you had the energy, you had the capability to do it, but you let some small worries, some anxiety about whether you couldn't do it or not.
So what anxieties would you most come across, do you think, when people...
Mostly people just think they can't physically do it, but the mind breaks down faster than the body does.
Exactly. I wouldn't have any physically, I wouldn't be that bothered.
Yeah.
It would be the absolute magnitude of the race. It'd be like, wow, I've got to get that far through these places that I've never been to before, over these mountain ranges that could be in the middle of nowhere. So it's like getting on top of that.
So coming back to the whole why am I doing this? It's not about, worrying about the physical challenge, the physical effort. It should be about focusing the mind on, I want to see that place. I want to see that place. I want to be part of this community. I want to be part of that grand start. We had a police escort last year. We're going to have a police escort for the start this year as well. To be amongst people like you who are undergoing a huge challenge, a challenge of their lifetime, racing each other, racing against each other, racing with each other, meeting them, getting to know them. There is the community aspect, which we're very, very, very strong on. That's why we've got so many people returning. But the adventure, you should be inspired to go to some of these places and think, wow, that looks beautiful. I need to be there.
I mean, it feels like it'd be very unusual to start an event like this, especially for the first time, without some worries or some doubts in your head. I mean, who kind of just goes in with full confidence that, I don't know. I mean, even if it was something a lot smaller, you might have some doubts. But as you say, you kind of have to kind of concentrate on why you want to do it.
Yes.
And
also break it down. I mean, you
and
don't
I think, excuse me, sorry, and I think this applies to all ultras as well, from like 200 miles all the way up to around the world thing. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And no, you can't be thinking about just 4,000 kilometers because that's unfathomable. You have to think, okay, well, how far am I going to get on the first day? How far can I do? And therefore, what's the second day going to look like? What's the minimum distance I need to do to get to the party on time? And when you break it down to that, and for Via, it's 15 and a half days, a bit more than 15 and a half days.
This better be a good party, by the way.
Fantastic party. See the videos on our website, on our Instagram. Yeah. It was fantastic catering.
So your website is
via-race.com.
Right.
So yeah, where was it? What are we talking about?
How many Ks a day you might have to do to reach the party in time?
So it's about 260, 270.
Okay.
Which I think for most people is doable. Yes, you have to do it day after day after day. This is on road. This is not off-road.
Over mountainous terrain.
Yeah, some of it's mountainous. It's not all mountainous. So it's about 40,000 meters of climbing. It could be less. It depends on you. You could do longer and flatter.
About 5 Everests.
Yeah. 4.5 Everests, 4.5 Everests.
I mean, it feels like you have to do some kind of, obviously you've got to be bike fit to be able to do 260 a day. And you probably need to have some experience of riding that kind of distance beforehand.
Yes, yeah. I mean, a short sprint event like 1,000K is really good experience, very good learning.
Yeah.
That's where, usually the time limit is 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
So it's about the same, 250 a day. I think with 4,000 kilometers, you would get into a sleep pattern of having at least 3-4 hours of sleep every night.
So is that what the people at the pointy end are doing? 2 or 3, 2,
typically,
3, 4?
But I think it's also getting longer. So riders are finding that they're faffing less, that the stopping time is a real killer. So where you're doing nothing, but going to the toilet or buying something. And, you can reduce that faff time by doing 3 things at every stop. Top tip. So you go to the toilet, you fix your bike, you buy some food.
Yeah.
That's done. That's a good stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, riders are finding that they will be more focused if they've slept maybe 5 or 6 hours a night, and they'll ride faster. They'll have recovered more. They'll be much more mentally focused on moving forwards.
It'd be interesting to know where that cutoff point is. And I'm sure it varies for everybody, but where, the extra sleep, even though it's costing you time, actually starts reducing your time overall.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For sure, we had one
what that
rider
would be,
from Norway last year. He would sleep 6 hours, even 8 hours a night.
In hotels or?
Yeah, he would hotel it. He said he was on a holiday. He paid his electricity bill in the middle of the race. He went for a swim in the pool. He watched some of the Olympics just while he wanted to stop.
Right.
He was enjoying himself. It was his holiday.
Yeah. Did he finish?
He'd not done an ultra before that, and he'd got over 3,000 kilometers into the race, and then he crashed.
Wow.
So he then scratched because then he wasn't enjoying himself so much.
Yeah.
But he's coming back this year, and we'll see how he does against other riders. There were other guys in the top 10 who would only sleep 1 or 2 hours a night, and they were so haggard, and they would see this guy from Norway just pass them all the time and take photos. He would stop and take photos. And apparently he was the annoying Norwegian guy who was always happy, looking really pristine, clean,
They do.
and fast.
Those people do exist, though, don't they? They always, they look like they are putting in no effort at all. And they're always there. They're always sort of, while you're sort of sweating, looking completely disheveled and bedraggled and all the rest of it. It's just there, like, hello.
His sleep strategy worked for him. So yeah, it does prove that you can push it, and we'll see how he does this year, how he adapts
sort of with all that experience that he's got now that he didn't have before. It'd be quite interesting to see how that changes. Yeah. But actually, talking of experience that he had before or didn't have before, rather, I was going to ask you, what have you learned from last year's race? The organisation there that you're sort of applying to this year's?
In terms of organisation of the race. So this year we have, again, a lot of returnees from our team. So we built a really good team. We have really streamlined the organisation. So in terms of like the communications, the processes, the things that we do, how we interact with each other, just to make ourselves more efficient in terms of how far we move, where we move, how we can capture the most media, because we have, I think, something like 6 media guys who photograph
what
and
do
video.
you do during the event? Are you sort of following the trajectory of the route?
Yeah, the strategy which really worked for us last year was to have a vehicle at the front of the race, so the fastest riders, a vehicle in the middle of the race, and a vehicle at the back.
Right.
So that the vehicle at the back can always, which we call the broom wagon, they can always look after the riders who are a little bit slower, a bit more vulnerable. Maybe they're older. Our paracyclist was picked up by our broom wagon when he scratched at 1,800 kilometers, which for a lower leg amputee is an amazing achievement. And he's coming back this year. And we've also got a hand cyclist joining us this year, and a number of rookies, especially from the US.
Right. Okay, they're making their way over.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Some guys who are also returning from Australia, really making that journey back to be with lifelong friends that they've made, and they say that we've changed their lives. So they can't wait to come back and be in the start place, which was also the finish place last year. So looking forward to bringing our community back together. But so that strategy in terms of where we position our vehicles means that we can cover the entire race. We can be close to riders. We had one rider who was run over, Nikki Shaw. She was rear-ended and it was a hit and run. But we had our broom wagon very close by, and we also had a number of riders close by. So they all converged on her position within half an hour. Right. We had like 6 people there. We gave time bonuses to all the riders who spent the time looking after her, so they didn't lose out. And we got her an ambulance within 20 minutes. So the riders were kind of one rider was from Colombia, spoke obviously fluent Spanish, was speaking to the ambulance because nobody else could speak fluent Spanish on the ground there. Other riders were gathering up her possessions.
Right. And she was okay?
Yeah. So our broom wagon waited with her in the hospital for a few days until her partner came.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Transported her partner from the train station to the hospital.
Right.
So they could spend the time
So
there.
I guess the race vehicles, you can be in front of the race and behind, but I suppose part of the challenge there is that each rider's choosing their own course.
But we know because of all the gates where approximately
they're
they will
going to be going.
Yes.
Yeah.
We also have 2 staffed locations, which we call refuges, where we have people on the ground with, in a building, which will have some basic services and like running water, drinking water, a shower, toilet, somewhere to sleep, some basic food, and some tubes. So it is a location which is welcoming, which riders will look forward to, and they've got a 15-minute mandatory stop so that we can talk to them. They don't have to race off and worry about
a bit like the Southern Divide. That was a bit of a longer stop, wasn't it?
For me, it was. Yeah.
For me, the stop didn't exist. The Southern Divide, I think. Yeah, you could only leave checkpoint 3 at a certain time.
2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I got there at 6:00.
So Marcia could basically, because I think you were driving faster than cycling faster than Marcia could drive at points. Okay. So any other tips for people looking to get into this really long distance stuff?
I think being physically prepared is one. The mental side is not to be underestimated. The equipment, you could go. We could talk for hours about how you would set up your bike.
Do you know how, going back to the mental stuff, how would you harden yourself up? How can you harden yourself up mentally? Is it just grin and bear it?
I think in the UK we have lots of terrible weather, especially during the colder months. We have a lot of precipitation, a lot of rain and wind and cold, and it's just miserable.
It's completely miserable.
When you think about the race, especially in summer, for us at Veer, it's going to be hotter and drier and on nicer roads than we have here. So when you think about all these things, you think, in my training, I had it really hard. It will never be as bad as that. And I play this game with myself when I'm doing ultras. It's not as bad as. Yeah. It's not as bad as that time when it was -3.
You could go to quite extremes here.
Yeah.
This isn't as bad as getting beaten up by 6 really massive blokes
Hell's
in the
Angels.
middle of Mogadishu.
I think when it comes to that mental thing, like confidence, really, it's all about confidence, isn't it? If you've got the confidence, you feel more mentally prepared. And confidence, basically, a lot of it comes from preparation, but also experience. So the more you've done before, that gives you more confidence, especially if it went well. And if you know that you're well prepared and you've checked every box that on the list that you reasonably can, then that too is going to give you a lot of confidence going in.
Oh, for sure. But also your expectations. What do you want out of the race? If you go into the race wanting a top 10, you're going to have a tough time. We have the world's best coming to our race. So squeezing into the top 10 is going to be an achievement. Top 20, maybe. In your first ever long ultra, may be achievable, depending on how you prepare.
Would you say target positions? Would you say, go race it as fast as you can?
I would say targeting a time. So saying, I have a plan, I can do X 100 kilometers a day and try to stick to that plan rather than worrying about placings, because you never know. There's always somebody faster than you. And this is why you should be humble in the ultra world, because you've got a lot of pros coming in. You've got some people who live off the sport, very few. Some people who are sponsored who have better kit than you, who can just afford more. You get more time to train. I'm a dad of 3. Other people don't have kids. They're single. This is their life. Yeah, I love ultra cycling, but that's all they do. They may be able to churn out 20 hours a week. I can only do 7 at the moment, maybe. I think you have to manage those expectations. So what you want to target in terms of the number of days. So maybe if it's, for a top 10 at Veer, you've got to do it under 11 days.
Right.
For top 3, you've got to do 9, 10, under 10. Top 20, 12 days. So it's that sort of.
I guess you can gauge roughly, can't you?
Yeah.
Where you need to be, but as you say, you're never going to be able to kind of prepare perfectly for who might be there.
Yes,
and who might be fast.
And you just have to do your best.
Yeah.
You just have to do your best. There is a lot of luck. You know, those curveballs you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Most people suffer from those curveballs, and it depends on the preparation that you go through, how well you know your bike, your position, your body. A lot of it comes down to experience. Like our best riders have done loads of these events. They've won lots of these events. So it's not a surprise. A young guy coming in who's only done maybe 1 or 2 ultras or maybe none, they're not going to make the top 10. They will be very lucky to scrape a top 10.
Would you say there's a
not make some big mistakes?
Natural talent element involved in ultra cycling?
For sure. Yeah,
right.
For sure. You need some good numbers.
Yeah.
You need to be a good weight. You need to do good power.
Yeah.
But I think as well, you have to be focused on the goal.
Yeah.
You know, that's what differentiates a lot of people. And you know, from the best to those who DNF, it's about the why. They have a very strong reason to be there and to compete for the win, or compete for the podium, for the top 10, whatever it might be that they're targeting.
Yeah.
And if you just want to get round, if you're doing your own thing, you don't honestly mind if you come, at the back of the field, then, sort of the power you might be putting out is probably less a part of the equation, isn't it? I mean, obviously it's going to be helpful if you have more, but you can still do an ultra. You shouldn't be put off if you feel like your power numbers are sort of lower than they could be. As long as, I suppose, if you've got the sort of experience in riding longer distances and
stamina.
It's just about going long, isn't it?
The going long aspect is about being able to look after yourself. The experience of, being able to cross country, know where to resupply. If it gets hot, if it gets wet or windy, how do you look after yourself? If you can't look after yourself, you are going to scratch. You're going to suffer from, trench foot in cold, wet conditions. You're going to suffer from heat stroke in hot conditions. Forget about numbers. You're not moving. You're probably scratching. You're in a hotel, just sleeping, recovering. This happens to quite a few, typically younger guys who just think it's all about numbers. It's all about watts. It's not. Yeah. It's about moving forward steadily, looking after yourself.
Yeah. Speaking about heat, because we've had a heat wave in the UK over the last
low 30s.
July has been very, very hot, basically. How do you basically? What are your top tips for riding through extreme heat?
So last year we had a heat wave following the riders all the way around from southern Spain,
right,
through southern France.
I bet that was pretty hot.
Yeah, I felt very sorry for the riders.
Yeah. Were you touching 40?
It was 40 to 45 peak every day. So riders were suffering from heat stroke, heat exhaustion. Not so many scratches. It just slowed them down, needing to rehydrate and try to stay cool, try to look after themselves. So really with climate change, we need to be prepared for more extreme conditions, whether it be heat or rain. I know we've had snowfall in the Alps in the last week,
right,
at 2,300 meters. So the conditions are incredibly variable. But for riding in heat, you need to be acclimatized to it. You need to do some sort of heat adaptation or heat training. Be it, there are lots of protocols for going to the sauna, riding in all your winter gear and just sweating. Riding, with lots and lots of different protocols.
Taking hot baths.
Hot baths are another one. So, or just riding in hot climates.
Yeah.
Very specifically riding in the south of Spain or south of Italy in peak temperatures of the day.
Or just riding in the shed with no fan on.
Yeah. Lots of different ways you can do it, but that heat adaptation is probably number one.
I think with the heat adaptation, you don't need that. You've just got to be fairly consistent over a few weeks, haven't you?
Yeah. You don't have to go crazy.
Yeah.
You don't have to push any watts. You can do zone 1.
Yeah.
It's about the sweat response. It's about getting the heart.
Actually, I did hear that, just 5 days of 45 minutes it does a pretty good job of adapting you to heat.
Yeah.
You don't have to go mad with it.
No,
as you
okay.
say.
Doesn't have
And
to be
you want to
expensive
sort
either.
of take it a little bit steady as well with heat adaptation, just when you first,
Yeah.
build it up slowly.
Yeah. Don't go in too hot.
Mm.
Yeah. And too long, because otherwise you
definitely have to look after yourself and be aware of what your body's capable of. I mean, if you've got any heart conditions, it's something that you need to be really careful of. You need to be, looking at the signals as to, how hard am I pushing it? And it's pretty much zone 1 that you just want to be riding it.
I went into a heat chamber in Precision Fuel and Hydration a couple of months ago, and it was a control test. It was, they were looking at my heart rate and my power and making sure that things weren't going too crazy, So you've got to be careful when you're doing these things.
Yeah, I mean, it's a serious thing. I mean, especially riding in the heat, you've got to be prepared.
Yeah.
And we've signposted all our riders, they need to be doing the heat training of some sort. They need to be carrying, recommended minimum 2 litres, possibly 3 litres, depending on the size of you, depending on your adaptation to the heat.
Yeah.
Being aware of all the fountains on your route.
Yeah.
So in Italy, we've recommended the Fontanella app so that riders can literally use a free app and find fountains, free water, go plastic free as well. That's another bonus in all the villages, all the towns, in remote places on top of mountains. Italy's great for fountains. So signposting these things where, you can douse yourself in water. Graveyards, cemeteries, they're also great places to get water. It's about keeping yourself cool.
places to get really scared as well.
In the middle of the day.
Well, okay.
And ghosts don't really exist. Yeah. Come on, they're all dead.
Well,
We're going to get comments.
The jury's out on that.
Very popular. It's very popular. It's an ultra-cycling thing.
What's that?
Graveyards.
Yes,
churches, cemeteries.
It's strange.
Yeah.
Why is that? When I did the escapades last year, people were sleeping in Jevington graveyard
because people are usually scared, and so they're not well frequented. The error to make is to go to a high footfall place and try to sleep there. Go to a quiet place, hide yourself away where nobody goes.
Yeah, graveyard.
I suppose you're not going to get that many visitors at night, are you?
Exactly.
For good reason.
Yeah. They're all dead. Don't worry about it. They're not going to disturb you.
I don't see what's wrong with a little, just keeping by a hedge. Just you don't need to sleep.
Well, I guess if it is near a water tap and you've got water on tap.
Yeah, there is a water tap in Jevington, actually.
And churches being often made of stone. And especially in England, you've got the pews, so you can just lie in the porchway, and you've got some nice wooden bench with cushions. Perfect sleeping place.
Yeah.
Right. We've been talking for a long time now. I think we could wrap it up there.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us, Ian, and sharing with us some of your pearls of wisdom.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck with VIA, although by the time this is out, it will be being raced. It starts on the 26th of July.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll be following along with interest. I'm actually doing some sort of journalism work and podcasting on the event myself, so looking forward to that. And all being well, big target for next year. So save a place for me.
Done.
Yeah, here first.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in. Great to see you.
Thanks, James.
Okay.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah,
Thanks
cheers,
for having
Ian.
me.
Take care.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate.